Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Unplugged Woodworking's podcast. So I hope you have all had a nice Christmas and you are having the start of a good new year. Let's hope this year is a lot better than last year and the year previous. So I hope Santa was good to you all and he brought you lots of tools and whatnot. So I would actually like to say leave a comment in any of the any of my social media, and if you can attach a photo, I always like to see new gizmos and tools what everybody's got. It's pretty cool. So unfortunately for myself, I've been working over the Christmas period, so that kind of sucked. I didn't really get to do any woodworking because I was working. So, it was one of them. I haven't really done a great deal in the last 3 weeks, but 2022, I do plan on doing quite a lot. So what impressed me? There's been lots and lots that have impressed me, but I just thought I'd mention this one. And I've actually mentioned it before. I'm not too sure how long the guy's been making this puzzle desk. I have actually mentioned this puzzle desk before. I might have even mentioned it several times. So this is CT Fine Furniture, and he's been building the puzzle chest. I don't know if he's doing it in his spare time or if he's doing it for a client. There's a lot of work involved in this. Obviously, when you have a look at it, you'll see it's absolutely beautiful. You can see there's a lot of work went into it. I don't know if I'd take the task on myself. There's that much work, and obviously all the mechanisms and whatever else. But I think it might have been yesterday. A video popped up, and this was actually by Wood Review magazine. This is like an Australian magazine. So it popped up on there, and I think they've actually just grabbed a couple of his videos, obviously with his permission, and they've posted it, and that's the link I'm going to leave for this. So in the first video, he kind of pulls up. I'm not actually sure what you would call it. It's kind of a mini post. It's like the top of the post. Might you call it some sort of a crown? Anyway, he pulls the top of that out, and out comes this big, massive dagger. It's like half. It's half between a dagger and kind of like a small samurai sword. That's how it kind of looked to me. I did kind of think myself, could that not be like an envelope opener? But it's kind of it's nearly the size of my arm, this this knife or dagger, whatever you want to call it, sword. But that was pretty cool. I mean, whoever owns the desk, should anyone break in while he's at the desk, they're going to be in for quite a bit of trouble. But the mechanism itself was really cool. So the next video, obviously if you're swiping to the left, was, I believe, he presses one of the small drawers. This drawer looked kind of in the region of maybe somewhere like 4 inch by 4 inch. He kind of presses a drawer, and then in the center compartment, there's I think there's about another 4 drawers pop up, just out of nowhere. That's really, really cool. And then on the other side of the desk, on the next video, there's it looks like I'm guessing it's a magnet. I should have really looked into and read some of his posts, but it looks like a magnet. What he puts against one of the small drawers, and he turns it, so I'm kind of guessing it is a magnet, and I'm kind of guessing he's unlocking it. He presses that, and then on the right hand side there's another section of drawers that actually pop up. So it's he's obviously given it a lot of thought, and he's spent a lot of time on it. even if it didn't do all these amazing things, it would still be a really nice piece of furniture, and even without the mechanisms, I really don't think I would have tackled it myself. There's just so much work involved in it. Once it's finished, it's going to be absolutely excellent. It's already excellent. It kind of looked near enough finished from the picture what I've seen, but I might do a little bit of a follow up on it. I might try and do a bit more digging and find out, if it's for a client or for yourself, etc. But it's really worth checking out. So I'm going to leave a link for that. So today, I was just thinking about. I'm just going to go over a little bit general chit chats. Couple of things I haven't finished off last year. I'm going to talk about them a little bit, and I'm going to talk about things I've got planned for 2022. A few things I'm stopping doing, and a few things I'm going to be doing, so on and so forth. So one of the things I'm going to be stop doing is I'm actually going to stop building furniture for people or for clients, if you will. It's getting it's getting a bit what's the word I'm looking for, the correct word. I don't think I've got a word for it, but it's becoming very problematic for us. I'm fortunate at the moment that I'm making a decent wage, and me building furniture for people, it's just becoming problematic, if I'm honest. So I am going to stop obviously advertising. I'm actually going to be pulling my Etsy shop. Etsy's just dead. I'll rephrase that. It's not dead. It's kind of what they're charging you is like extortion. In my opinion, it's really extortion. Like the fees they charge you. It's the same as eBay. eBay's fees have went up. Not that I really sell a lot of furniture on eBay, but same again for anybody that's thinking about doing it. You need to check the fees out. So there's that. Obviously, when I'm advertising as well, that's costing us money. If I advertise on Etsy, and somebody buys one of my pieces of furniture, through the advertisements, they take an even bigger percentage of the total buy, and then I've got to post it. So the postage, I think at the moment for the average piece I'm paying around about £60 for postage. That's without packaging. So as you can imagine, I'm not making a great deal of money. So it's kind of the pros are outweighing the cons. This would be different if I was making different pieces of furniture. Because I don't actually mind doing it. It sounds a bit silly, but I don't actually mind doing it. If I'm making different pieces of furniture, doing something I haven't, building something I haven't built before, it's a challenge, and obviously I tend to learn new skills when I'm doing different things, or I might kind of re-educate myself, so on and so forth. But making the same furniture like again and again and again, it's getting old. It's like I'm really not enjoying it. I think I've mentioned it like several times with the tape cassette tables. Don't get us wrong, they look so cool when they're built, but it's getting so old, and I just really don't want to build them anymore. I'm getting to the point where I'm building the furniture and I'm not enjoying woodworking, and I love woodworking. I've loved it for many years now, and it's getting to the point where I'm just not enjoying it. So that's kind of one of the big reasons that I'm doing it for. And I always seem to be rushing around. Obviously, I've been working away from home. I've done this on and off since I was 17 years old. But obviously, I went back to work. I was able to go back to work. I think it was about April-ish, or it might have been March. March was it? May have been March in 2021. I was able to get a fix, basically a start of work for a company, and then I jumped on back to my old company, and I've been working for them ever since. But it tends to be a 2-and-2 rotation, so I'll get 2 weeks at work and then 2 weeks at home. So be 2 weeks at home, I'm rushing around like crazy trying to get things finished, and that's another thing I really don't like doing. I really don't like rushing around, and it seems that I'm doing it more and more, and it's having a knock-on effect with my work. It's starting to become noticeable in my work. It's things are getting a little bit sloppy, and it's kind of it's not on, is it? So. And things like this bother me. Things like this keep me awake at night. But yeah, so I think that's like I don't know if I'll ever start doing it again. I mean, to be honest, I think if anyone really wants something built from us, I think they would have to contact us. It'll probably have to be via social media, and it'll have to really be worth me while, and it'll have to really be something that I want to do. Otherwise, I'm not going to be interested. So, with that stopped, this is going to allow me a lot of time to do other stuff. So, when I say other stuff, I'm referring to blogging. I haven't really blogged for quite some time, and I am getting a lot of requests for plans now. So I did kind of learn how to use SketchUp. So don't get us wrong, I'm not great at using SketchUp, but I'm to the point where I can actually draw plans, put the sizes on them, and people can understand them in a clear fashion or a clear manner. So moving forward this year, I was actually contemplating on writing another book. Yeah, while that does seem a good idea, it's actually going to take us quite a long time. So basically, the idea with the book was to basically, it's basically going to be a follow up to my first book. The first book I wrote was about how to build and use a Roman workbench. So the next logical step would be how to build furniture on a Roman workbench. So I still think it's a cool idea, and there is still a lot of people that kind of have like built a Roman workbench, and they're kind of like, well, kind of what now? How do I build traditional furniture or whatever else? And I will say this: it is very possible, because I've done it and I am doing it and I will do it. It is, as I say, very possible to build all manners of weird and wonderful things on that bench. I've built bed frames, I've built blanket chests, Viking chests as I'm looking at it, coffee tables, dining tables, chairs, all the full shebang really. But the problem is still, there's a lot of people don't know kind of how to use it, or people are just like, overlooking things. So that was going to be the next logical step. But as I said, the problem being is that, this could take us the next year to write the book. Not necessarily to write it, but basically to get everything made. So what I'm kind of thinking what's going to be better for everybody is for me just to do a blog on each piece, and basically everyone gets the instructions, or at least how I've built it. They're going to get like the pictures with, obviously, to give people an idea, a visual aid, if you will, and obviously you're going to get the plans with it. So the plans are all going to be free. I ain't going to be charging for any of the plans, although I will leave a donation link, which people can donate if they feel they want to and they're able to. And if you're not in that position, it's no sweat. You can still get the plans and you can still make it. So that's kind of that's what I want to do moving forward. I also want to put a little bit more emphasis on videos as well. There is quite a lot of people that do follow us. I see quite a lot of people. I'm being big-headed now, aren't I? There's not actually a lot of people that follow us. There's a select number of people. That's a better way to say it. There's a select number of people that follow us, and they take the time to comment on my social media, on my YouTube videos. They interact with us, and they actually do look forward to my videos and whatnot. So I am going to try and put more emphasis on the videos. So this is all going to work together. Hopefully, obviously the blogs and the videos. So it's kind of should It should all work out quite nicely. Well, it will do in my head, but obviously we're going to have to see how things pan out. So some of the projects I'm just going to go through now. So this is kind of what you should be expecting. And this is what I have got planned. Same again, these might vary. They might not in any specific sort of order. Although I have kind of wrote them down, and at least the first couple I have wrote down which way I kind of want to do them. So the first one is going to be a resource saw. So I have actually got a blade for this. I purchased a blade. It might have been nearly pushing 2 years ago, and it's just been lying there. So I kind of wanted to make a resource saw. I'm kind of tossing up with the ideas because I kind of don't know whether to build a frame saw that I could use as a rip saw, your traditional type of frame saw, or I don't know whether to make a Reboot style sort of resource saw. So for anyone that doesn't know, it's kind of where the saw blade itself is kind of it's encased in the frame, if you will, because a regular frame saw, the frame is actually above the blade, so you've got access. But with this, you've got like framework at either side of the saw. So I'm not overly sure what I'm gonna do with that. I am kind of leaning towards the Reboot style. So I did actually see a post. I don't know where I seen it. I don't know if it was on Facebook or if it was on Instagram, and I can't remember when it was. But I did actually see a post, and it was a Reboot style frame, like a frame saw, so like resource saw, and it didn't actually have quite a lot of ironmongery. The Reboot style resource saws I have seen have all had ironmongery. So basically, they've got the two sections at either end of the saw that connect the saw to the frame, and then at one end they've got like a bit of a screw or a bolt, and this actually tightens the blade. Puts tension on the blade. There's like a bit of ironmongery that wraps around the frame and everything, and I think that was one of the things that put us off, because I have actually seen this several times over the last couple of years, and it did actually put us off, because I thought to myself, well, you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to buy that specific sort of ironmongery, or you're going to have to try and make it yourself. And since I don't really do a lot of metal work, and it's like I'm very limited with my metal work, and I haven't really got any tools to metal work with, and if I was going to metal work, it's most likely going to be with machines, i.e. grinders and whatever else, which I don't have. So that kind of was putting us off. So the post I seen was they had where the ironmongery was fixing either end of the blade. It had in this post I seen it actually had hardwood. I'm not sure what type of hardwood it was. I'm guessing maybe something like beech or ash, and that was actually fixing the two pieces. Either end of the blade. So you had the two pieces of hardwood. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's just say beech, and you had two sections of steel going through there, going through the wood, and going through the blade and into the other end of the wood. So you've got the two sections sandwiching the blade, and then obviously you've got the, let's just say it, same again for argument's sake, we had two sections of nail that were cut, and that was holding the two edges of the frame. On one side, obviously you'll have a bit of a stopper. This was like all carved out, and on the other side it went through a hole, and there was actually a wedge, which I thought was quite simple but ingenious. So instead of having the ironmongery at one end, you just basically had a wedge. Tap the wedge in, creates a tension, and I would imagine after you finish using it, you would just knock the wedge out and then just tap it back in and ever so slightly, just to stop everything from falling apart, just to loosen some of the tension. So I thought it was quite a simple but elegant problem. A solution to solve the problem. So I think that's kind of how I'm going to go if I do it that way. Obviously, if I do it kind of a frame so where that's kind of self-explanatory, there'll just be some cord, maybe some hemstring, or some type of tweed, with the regular piece of wood to stop it from spinning back out. So I do kind of plan on doing that soonish. I have actually got a few things that require my attention, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it in January. So, but that's probably going to be my next project. The next project after that is going to be a new caddy. So, just of late, I've had quite a few people inquire about the caddy. There's nothing special about it. It's very simple. But I had people asking us for plans and whatever else. So, same again, this is just going to be another blog post. I am going to be redesigning it to fit me tools a little bit better. Because obviously when I built the first one, I was just kind of guessing things. Which probably, if you build it yourself, when I do publish the plans, same again, these are going to be free. When I do publish the plans, you might build it and you're more than likely going to change it. That's one of the caveats with something like this. It's the same with everything. I mean, it's like even the Roman workbenches, they just, every time I build one, it constantly evolves. There's not like one bench that's the same. I don't know how many I've built now. Is it like maybe about 6 or 7 of these benches I've built? They're all different. Obviously, it just evolves, and it's the same with like the caddy as well. Obviously, I've built one caddy. I do like it for its simplicity and how much I can cram onto such a small space and just pick up and walk off with it. But there's a few problems with it. I don't like some of the tool arrangements, how they're arranged, where they are. So obviously they're going to be swapped out, and it's it's going to be the same for you if you do build it. What my preference is doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be your preference. But it's going to be good. For people just to kind of, or at least for people like me, I'm a visual learner, so 9 out of 10 it's better for me just to look at pictures and I kind of grasp I would dare say I grasp about 80% to 70% of what I need to maybe make something from that. It can sometimes be more than that. That's just how my mind works. It takes very little text. I can literally look at a picture and maybe a couple of words, and that's all I need sometimes. Where I know other people need a full article, because they're more of they'll take more in from words, and obviously we're all different individuals. So next on the list is something I've been really not dying to make, but I really, really want one. And it's either going to be a dining table or a kitchen island. And I think I mentioned the kitchen island, it might have been several months ago, whenever it was. So the kitchen island, it is going to be more practical for myself. There's only me living in the house by myself, but the kitchen is so small. I really need some more cupboard space. So in that sense, it's going to be more practical because of kitchen island. I'm going to be able to make some cupboards. So what I kind of had planned was it's going to kind of be like me dovetail tables. If anyone's seen me dovetail coffee table, it's going to be pretty much the same sort of build as that, other than the fact that it's going to have cupboards underneath it, and one of the sides is going to be kind of sunken in a bit, if you will, and that's just going to allow myself and whoever else, who's ever sitting at the bench to be able to get the knees on that and to eat food off it. So what I had planned, rather than dovetail it with your standard dovetails, I wanted to actually do some fancy Japanese dovetails. So I kind of wanted to do it, and I don't want to do it because I know it's going to take us such a long time. But on the plus side, it's going to look awesome once it's done. So I'm kind of thrown up about that. I'm not overly sure, but if I do kind of go that route, which I probably will if I do go for the kitchen island. I was actually thinking about putting it on casters as well. Me bench space is just there's not a lot of bench space. And I've got like a kitchen dining room. It's one room, but it's absolutely tiny. So it would make sense for us to put it on casters and be able to move it more towards me bench space. And I can literally be cooking and chopping, and I can have all that bench space, which is going to be available to myself with the kitchen island. So it's going to be like a really, it's going to up my game, if you will, for being able to, just basically having room. Honestly, it's like, I'm not exaggerating at all. My kitchen is so small. It's ridiculous, and the bench space, it's horrendous, and that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to do. So with that, it's going to take us a long time to do it. That's my only issue with it. If time wasn't an issue, like if it wasn't going to take us as long as it's going to take us, that would be the winner most likely. But because it's going to take us so long, I am thinking about just doing the dining table. So I'm not overly sure what I'm going to do. If I do a dining table, I'm not overly sure what type of design I'm going to do. I was actually thinking about doing a similar design what I done for a guy down in London. I made a dining table for a guy in London. I think I finished it off. I think it might have been somewhere in the start of January in 2021. And this was just sliding dovetails. You had your legs fixed to a big block of wood, and this was pretty much taken. Well, it was taken. There's no ifs or buts about it. This was taken from the Anarchist's design book, and Chris Schwartz. He basically made a writing desk. So I kind of took the basic design and I changed things around to my liking. But it is, that is pretty much the design. So with that design, I did actually have screws underneath to keep it in place, to give it a bit more strength, which it didn't really need, to be honest. Obviously everything did swell out a little bit. But with this one, if I do go ahead with it as what I wanted to do, I wanted to do and same again, I wanted to do a sliding dovetail joint, but I actually want to do a tapered one. So this is actually going to lock itself in, and I'm not going to be using any screws at all. That's kind of the whole thing of it. If I go that route, which would be pretty cool. I'd like to see how the joint behaves. In my head, it's kind of going to be okay. There shouldn't be much of an issue with it. If anything, with us using oak, it should expand slightly, and it shouldn't really contract a great deal. Obviously, I know wood, it expands and contracts throughout the year, but in the northeast of England, where I am, this is what I've kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of what I've viewed, if you will. I kind of think of the right word, yeah. But basically, the likes of spruce and redwood, they'll, is what they tend to do. In my experience, they'll shrink quite a lot, and then the expansion and the shrinking is very minimal after that. Where I find with oak tends to be the opposite. Oak will expand, and then it'll reduce, and it'll expand very, very minimal. The same as the pine, but obviously the pine tends to shrink a lot first, and then as what I've experienced is the oak tends to expand a lot. Obviously different places in the world, wood's going to behave differently. There's different amounts of moisture in the air, different places and different times of year all throughout the world, so this is, obviously building it for myself. I give myself the affordability to actually try this out and see how it goes. I personally think if I do go down this route, it isn't going to be an issue. But it would be interesting, just to see how the wood actually does hold up, to see what issues there is, if there's any at all. I can't really see there being too much issue, doing this. The thing with the table as well, it's if I do build the table rather than the kitchen island, it is going to be a lot quicker. And that's I am kind of fancying doing that. But it is a toss-up between the two of them, so I can't actually be, 100% what I'm going to do, but it is going to be one of them. I mean, I do actually have other things requiring my attention. This poor house, that's another reason I've stopped furniture, because nothing gets done in my house. I've got a bathroom that needs to be done. Basically, I'm going to, put some sort of either tile it or put some PVC cladding up, like some marble effect PVC cladding, put a new shower in, etc. It's not a major thing, but it still needs doing. It still needs me attention. I've also got an outhouse with a flat roof, which is leaking a little bit, so I want to build some framework and put a sloping roof on that. So that's another thing that needs doing. So I'm going to have to kind of play it by ear and kind of see what happens. So with a table, or with a kitchen island, you're going to need chairs. So I get to make some new style chairs. I purchased the digital copy of I'm not actually sure the name of the book. It's the Jenny chair. I think Chris Schwartz he edited it. Did he edit it? I think he may have done. I'm pretty sure it was a reissue, with the permission of the original author. So the Jenny chair, it's kind of like a ladder back chair. They're pretty cool. At the moment, and this depends whether I pull my finger out and bother myself to go and get it. But there is actually, in the last couple of months, we did have some high winds here in the northeast, pretty much all over England, I believe. So there was actually a lot of trees that came down. And if I pull my finger out and I get myself into gear, I'm gonna should be able to get most of the wood for free for the chairs. And I'm also going to be able to get myself some firewood for the log burner. So that's going to be pretty cool. I've built several chairs over the last 5 or 6 years or so, but I've never actually built one like fully from like scratch, like, and it is literally like by scratch, because it will be I'll be processing the log and everything, which is going to be cool. I think the only problem is I'll probably have issues of getting the logs back to my house. I don't really, where they are, the kind of, there's actually a few there's a few places where I can actually get these from. That's if they're still there. I know one of the locations, the timber is still there. But it's actually getting it back to my house. I don't want to process it. It's quite near roads, it's in view and whatever else. I don't really want to be, wedging it with a sledgehammer, like breaking the log up on site. I really don't want to be doing that, but it might have to happen. It seems silly for us to turn the wood down, turn free wood down. I mean, I haven't fully looked at it. I've just literally drove past it in the car, and glanced at it. But it does look like it is usable timber. It does look like, sections of it do look straight, to the point where I am going to be able to harvest chair parts out of it. And it does seem a shame, because people are either going to come and chop that section of the log up for firewood, or the local council's going to come and turn it into wood chip. And it seems, doesn't seem quite right. So at least it doesn't to me anyway. So that's going to be pretty cool. Same again, I'll be doing a blog on it. I'm obviously not going to be doing plans, because the plans are not mine to share with people. You're probably going to have to go out and buy the book if you want the plans. I might look into it, but obviously I don't think I'm going to be able to publish the plans, unless I change a few things around. But at this point, I don't know. It is going to require me building the steamer. So again, that might be a separate video. Anyone that's interested in doing a little bending of wood, that's something to look out for. Also going to be building a few jigs for that. I think there is a few jigs that are needed. Just to get the pieces of wood bent. These are just forms, basically. So another project that I will be doing sometime this year is a shelf with a drawer underneath it. This is going to be for my kitchen, and this is going to go directly above where my fridge freezer is. And what I plan to do with this, I plan to put some sort of appliance on top of the shelf, whether that be a pressure cooker or whatever I choose to put on it. It's obviously going to house some sort of appliance, but the underside of it, I actually do, want to put some sort of a drawer in it. I think this is actually going to be kind of a good one for people that are just delving into dovetails, because I'm actually going to do an L-shape bracket with a diagonal in it. So the L-shaped bracket, that's going to be fixed together with dovetails, and the diagonal is going to also have dovetails in it. So this is going to be a good practice, I believe, for people that are just like kind of turning the hand to dovetails. So when you're doing it, if the dovetails don't go too right, but they're still sound, and you could use, they're still structurally sound, but they just don't look too pretty, it's not going to be a big issue, because you're going to have a section that's facing the wall, and you're going to have the top section where the shelf itself is actually going to be sitting on top of and being fixed to, so no one's going to see those dovetails at the back. But you're actually, by doing the dovetails, you're offering a lot of strength, and obviously with the diagonal section, it's a really strong frame. So another thing with the drawer, it's also going to allow you to practice your blind dovetails if you should choose to, which I'm probably going to do. So again, it's kind of not the end of the world if they don't look great. It's kind of, especially if you're doing it for yourself. I mean, it's I'm going to say it shouldn't look too bad, but obviously it's one of them. It depends of how early on you are in your woodworking career type of thing. Don't get us wrong, people can do it, first time, and they can make a great job of it. But as I said, the whole project itself is going to allow you, to delve into the dovetails. And even if you're not a stranger to dovetails, I think it could, be a good potential project for you anyway. And as I said, the L brackets with the diagonal strut in it, because it's all dovetails, it's going to add, it's going to give you a lot of strength. Anyone that follows us knows I'm a big believer in the strength of dovetails, not just for pulling apart, but obviously, turning in on itself. Obviously, I've made chairs and I've made tables, where there's just, it's just been like a U shape, if you will, or an L shape. There's been all the supports, and to this day, they're perfectly fine. So, as I said, I am a great believer in them. Okay, so I'm running low on time, so I'm going to try and get this last one in. So the last one, what I do plan on doing, not necessarily last in the year, but last on the list, is a chest of drawers, or rather some campaign furniture drawers. So what I like about these, again, going to be dovetailed, going to be nice, strong carcass. But what I can do, I can actually build a section of these at a time. So one section of the carcass will typically contain 2 drawers. So I can build one carcass with the 2 drawers, and I don't have to worry about the rest. So this could be an ongoing thing for however long. But it affords us more time, so I can be using 2 drawers, and I can build another 2 drawers later and stack them on top of each other, and that's what I really like about it. And obviously these were built to move around, obviously campaigning the war campaign, so, but I think they're a good design, and that's kind of something I really want to do as well. As I said, it's going to afford us a lot of time, to add different sections of drawers on if I choose to. So that's pretty much me up with me time. So let us know what everyone's doing in the new year, what projects you are planning on doing. Leave a comment. Really be interested to hear what everyone's doing. Thanks for listening, and I hope all yous have had a great Christmas and Happy New Year to all of yous. Until the next time, I shall speak to yous later.